Picture this. You wake up starving, your fingers numb, and the air outside is so cold that just 10 minutes of exposure could end your life. Now, stretch that moment across your entire existence, every single year, for thousands of years, with no heater, no insulated walls, nothing separating you from the freezing air, except what you managed to hunt, stitch, or burn. This was daily reality for our ancestors during the Ice Age. And here's the part that's hard to accept. If you were transported into that world tonight, with all your modern knowledge intact, you would likely not survive the first week. Not because you lack intelligence, but because intelligence alone was never the deciding factor. Ice Age survival demanded a level of physical and mental adaptation so extreme that parts of it sound unbelievable today. And to make it through, early humans didn't just adapt cleverly. In some cases, what they did looked less like resourcefulness and more like something out of a horror story. To understand how brutal things really were, consider this. Around 20,000 years ago, at the coldest point of the last ice age, temperatures across huge parts of the planet were far below anything we experience now. Enormous sheets of ice covered stretches of North America, Europe, and Asia. Humans, a species born under the African sun, were suddenly forced to survive in conditions closer to modern Siberia than anything evolution had prepared us for. No fur, no blubber, no built-in defense against the cold. Our bodies were simply not designed for this, so everything that kept people alive had to be built, taken, or torn from the bodies of other animals. That reality led to the first unsettling survival tactic: wearing the dead. Human skin alone offered almost no protection against Ice Age temperatures, so people turned to animal hides instead. These skins became the only real barrier between a person and death by freezing. Evidence shows that bear hides were used for hundreds of thousands of years. Think about what that truly meant. Obtaining a bear hide required hunting or scavenging one of the deadliest predators around, then skinning it, then wrapping your own body in it, then sleeping inside it night after night. Survival meant trusting your life to the skin of a creature that could easily have killed you first. For most of this era, clothing was rough, just loose hides thrown over the body. Functional, but far from comfortable. Comfort wasn't the goal, though. Staying alive was. In this kind of cold, exposed skin doesn't just ache, it dies. Frostbite was a constant danger, leaving blackened fingers and permanently damaged limbs, with no hospitals and no medicine to fix a single mistake. Then, roughly 30,000 years ago, a small invention changed the course of human survival: the needle. Carved from bone or ivory, it fit easily in the palm of a hand, yet reshaped history. For the first time, people could sew garments that actually fit the body. Instead of simply draping hides, they layered clothing from reindeer, fox, and other animal skins to trap heat and block cold air. It might not sound like a breakthrough, but it likely allowed entire populations to survive in places that would otherwise have been uninhabitable. Still, every piece of clothing had a price. Each coat and glove meant another animal had died, and someone had spent hours scraping and shaping hide with stone tools while freezing themselves. Shelter posed its own nightmare. In many Ice Age regions, there was no forest for timber and no caves for cover, so people built with the only large resource available: bones, specifically mammoth bones. Across parts of Eastern Europe, archaeologists have uncovered ancient dwellings constructed from mammoth skulls, ribs, and tusks, deliberately arranged and covered with hide and earth to block wind and hold in warmth. People were, quite literally, sleeping inside the skeletons of giants. At a site in Spain called Cima de los Huesos, the Pit of Bones, researchers have even proposed a controversial theory: that ancient humans may have entered a hibernation-like state, drastically slowing their metabolism to endure the harshest winter months. The theory remains disputed, But the fact that scientists take it seriously shows just how extreme survival may have become. Not everyone made it. As the cold intensified, the Neanderthals, our closest relatives and arguably better adapted to freezing climates than we were, vanished entirely. Shrinking food supplies, climate instability, and competition for resources overwhelmed them. Only one human species walked out of the Ice Age. What carried us through wasn't a single invention. It was cooperation. Tools and materials found hundreds of miles from their origin prove that human groups stayed connected, trading resources, knowledge, and support. When one group faced starvation, another sometimes helped. Cooperation wasn't kindness here. It was survival strategy, and perhaps the greatest tool humans ever built. So tonight, when you pull a blanket over yourself and complain about the cold, remember, your ancestors wore the skins of predators, slept inside skeletons, and endured winters brutal enough to erase an entire species. You're warm tonight not because humans mastered the cold, but because they refused to be beaten by it, passing that stubborn will to survive down to you. If stories like this fascinate you, hit subscribe to Survival Chronicles for more deep dives into what it really took for humans to survive.